Okay, welcome back. So in the last lecture, we have covered how to use Markdown. Um, so today we're going to introduce Jupyter Notebook, JupyterLab, and also the cloud computing environment, Google Colab. And also we're going to show you how to run Python code using VS Code on your local computer and also in the cloud. And this is very important because after you develop the package, eventually you need to showcase some examples how to utilize that. And one of the way that you can showcase is to develop some novel examples that allow other people to run. So when you're doing the testing, you want to run things locally, but you're also going to provide the example hosted on GitHub so that anyone can just click the link and then they open, then they can run your source code in the cloud. On the course website here, I have these two items here. On the left side, JupyterLab and also Google Colab. There are not a whole lot of things that you need to do right now, and it's pretty simple, but I do want to cover some shortcuts or keyboard shortcuts that you can make it easier for you to do coding. And also in the last lecture, I show you how to create a simple repository on GitHub and how to submit some pull requests, how to commit, and how to synchronize between your local computer also with Google Colab. So today I want to continue and want to do everything basically within this repository so that we become familiar how you can add things to a repo. Either it's a notebook or it's a Python script or anything you want. So here, first, let me restart my extension here. Close this one. So usually, what you want to do is to make sure that when you open a new repository, if there's something synchronized to GitHub, you want to make sure that you pull the changes first, okay? Because if you're behind GitHub, after you commit some changes, if you're trying to push, it's going to reject you. And this is going to happen, I'm sure, pretty sure, at some point during your programming journey. If you're trying to push to GitHub and you say, okay, it's not allowed because right now you're behind, whether because you pull some changes and also you make some changes in the cloud and eventually have some conflict. So you need to always make sure that your local has the latest copy. So in that way, you don't have any conflict. Kind of like the example I gave you in the last lecture. You send a file to someone else and they make some changes and they also simultaneously send to other people. They also make some changes. When they send back, you will need to resolve the conflict because there might be somebody adding some new stuff, somebody delete some stuff, and Git allows you to actually to see the changes and resolve the conflict. So again, usually what I do is to just make sure you Git pull, or you can just Git branch. Make sure that right now you are in the main branch, and after that you can switch to create a new branch or something like that. So right now we're on the main branch, and everything looks clean. There's no conflict. So what I can do here is to go to the online version. So go to repository, and then somewhere here you can click this button to go to the basically the Google Colab repository somewhere here. Once we have this, now we can, for example, you want to add something. So we're going to show you how to add some new stuff. So here, right, I can right click and then new file. So from here, you can add any TXT file, any Python script, anything. So first, let's add a Python script. Okay, I can just write maybe hello.py. So you can write the file extension hello.py, and then it's going to create a Python script. So here, once it's open, you can start doing anything you like. So I can just print out, just print, and double quotes. We cover the basics in the next couple lectures, but for now, just write whatever you want. Okay, print, and then parentheses, double quotes, and then just write a string inside. So this is right now just Python script. And in VS Code, how to actually run this Python script. In the menu here, there's a run start debugging button. But before you do that, you need to make sure that you select the correct Python environment. So in the VS Code interfacing here, For Python script, you're going to look at the lower right corner here. Do you see this one? Python and then the version. So if you see right now my Python version here, if I hover my mouse, you will see it's /bin/Python. On your Windows computer or Mac computer, you might see a different file path. So that one is probably not the one you want to use, because by default, usually we utilize the system Python. We don't want it because we install some additional software. So in this case here, you should click this one, and it's going to pop up a list of Python kernel here. You should select the one that we created that we want to use. For example, I want to use this one, EMVS Geo Python. So make sure you select the right one. Otherwise, right now we're using the system Python. If you don't use any additional like third-party packages, it's probably fine. You can run it. So for example, even if I don't select, it should be able to run because it's system Python. There's nothing unique. But if you want to run other packages, GeoPandas, LeafMap, and others, you need to select the one that you actually install those packages. So I'm going to select this one, EMVS Geo Bing Python. And after that, you should be good to go. So this is super important. Sometimes you are doing coding, you forgot to change it. And when you run the code, it's going to say, okay, this is not available, that is not available. That means you are not in the correct environment. Just like you register for a class, the first day of class, and then you try to go to the class. You go to the wrong classroom, then you're not going to get what you want. So here, once you select the correct one, then you can just click the start run menu, and then doing the start debugging. So if you click this one, it's going to pop out another dialog. You want to select the Python debugger. And then another one, Python file. So then you will see here at the bottom under the terminal. If you don't see the terminal, click this one here, and then go to the terminal tab. You should see this one is actually executing this website, this command line, and then it's going to print out this one here, hello world. So this is already executed, and you can control it. Right now, if you try to run again, it should not ask you again. It will just execute it. So the first time you're executing a Python script, it's going to ask you select the Python debugger and then the Python file and then execute it, right? And so from here, you can also use the keyboard shortcut. Depends on your operating system. Most likely it will be F5, but I'm not sure about Mac or Windows. So for example, hover your mouse with the cursor within this file, and then just press F5 on your keyboard. You see my F5 is not right. So I probably need to have Fn, F5. Yeah. This is a combination. So sometimes if F5 directly doesn't work, there's a Fn button on the lower left corner somewhere, then Fn, F5. It should execute this one. So Fn, and then press F5. So when it's executing, you see the one at the top here, but it disappears very quickly. That means it's executing and it's done. But we can have some breakpoints, then it will stop there. So for example, I can write another one here. I can say print. Here, int. And then, okay, another second line of text. So it's very much similar. I can run Fn, F5. Again, see this one? It's gone because it's executing, it's gone very quickly. But if you really want to make it to stop, you can hover your mouse on the left side. We haven't covered this one yet. This is so-called debugging. So if you hover your mouse on the left side, somewhere here, you're going to see a red dot. So the red dot is allow you to step through. If you click, for example, on the second line, I click to add a breakpoint. This is called breakpoint. And after that, if you press Fn, F5 again, this one should stay there. That means right now we're going through step by step. When we are covering the later some Python basic about looping, conditional statements, we use this one a little bit more because you will see how the program actually running line by line and then within the loops. Right now it's very simple, only have 2 lines, so it's going to finish. If you execute this one, for example, just one step into, you'll be done and then you'll be gone. So that means it's going to execute and then print out these 2 lines of code. So this is how Python script is being executed. Technically, we don't need VS Code to execute Python code. You can, after you install Python or Conda, you can just run the command line to execute that. So let me quickly show you how we can do that. So I'm going to go here. for example, under this directory, and then you can open your terminal or your PowerShell, whatever you like. So right now we're under this directory. So here you can also use CD into the project directory. So from here I can just conda activate geo on the right, or maybe on your computer it should be on the left. It's to show you like the geo parentheses. That means right now we are within the conda environment. So from here we can also execute Python script. What you would do would be just Python, and then the name of the Python file you want to execute. So Python and then hello.py. Take a look. Is it executing? So this is how Python code is being executed. You don't need VS Code. VS Code just makes it easy for you to write and with all kind of auto completion. But Python itself is a program, and right now, if you put a Python in the beginning, that means we're gonna use this Python.exe to execute Python code. Basically, the Python program. You can run this. You see, it's like less than 1 second. VS Code, because it's something else, you need to code all kind of stuff. So it might pop up something and then a couple seconds and then execute the Python code. But this is where you run Python code in a non-graphical environment, especially on the cloud computing. Most of the time, there's no interface for you to open VS Code. And if you just need to like execute code programmatically without interface, then you go to log into the computer and then just activate the contact command and then just run the code. So in that way, you can run things automatically. Make sense? So you can write Python, or you can directly like here. If you just type Python, hit enter, it's actually going to get into the Python kernel. And this is the same thing. You have the 3 like greater sign here. That means right now we are in the Python terminal. You can write Python code, you can execute, but it's not super useful because there's no auto completion and some advanced features that VS Code has. But I can do the same thing here. I can just say print and hello parenthesis execute. Okay, I can import os.get.cwt. So just like a terminal, you can do all kinds of things in here. But normally we don't want to, because we want to utilize the IDE so that you have a lot of advanced features. Just like when you are writing, right? Nowadays you use Microsoft Office, or use what's the one on Mac? Like whatever program you want to use, or Google Docs, right? Nobody really use Notepad to write papers, right? Because you don't have formatting, you don't have all kind of features. Same thing here. So going forward, we're going to use VS Code to do the coding, but I want to make sure that you understand that if one day there's no VS Code, you can still execute Python code. It's Python, and just create a file. So the Python script itself is just a plain text txt. It's just the .py, but I can open this one using Notepad, right? I can open this. It's not a compile file. It's just something like this. So you can just create a txt file, you write anything in there, you change the txt to .py, it should work as well, as long as it's very Python code. Make sense? So this is how you can execute Python code. And then in VS Code, make sure that you select the correct Python environment. After you create the conda, you should be able to do like from here. So this is how you execute Python code. And so right now, see here, I want to make sure that you are comfortable using Git, okay? Because you can make changes on your repo. At a certain point, you want to upload to GitHub. So again, depends on which branch you're working on right now. So this is Git branch. Right now, I'm under the main branch. So if you're making some minor changes and you're pretty sure it's not going to break your package, it's okay to commit directly to the main branch. But if you're working something like, for example, a lab assignment or whatever, like you're making changes to a bunch of files, you probably want to create a branch so that you don't mess things up. Because branch, you're going to create a pull request, and then you can see clearly compare what kind of things have been changed. In case something is wrong, you will know. So later, when we start developing a package, I want to show you some like GitHub actions. It will automatically testing your package and then run everything before you merge to the main branch. So in that way, if something is broken, you don't merge it, you fix it before you make some mistakes. Make sense? So for example, here right now, just add a simple one. I can start like commit to my GitHub. I can say add a Python script, okay? And then For me, it will be just Control Enter, changes, and that's it. So now if I refresh, I should have this script here on my GitHub repository, and that's it. So next, let's talk about Jupyter Notebook. So I want to make sure that you know how to create a notebook and how to execute a Python code. On the left side here, and for this one, I'm going to create a new branch. Okay, so git check out ASB, maybe notebook. Okay, I'm going to create a notebook branch. And then on the left side, I'm going to create a new notebook. So here, maybe I can, what's the name? Maybe hello.ipymb, okay? So the file extension will be .ipymb. IPY means IPython, MB means notebook. So make sure you use the correct extension. Otherwise, it's not going to be recognized as a notebook. So hit enter. Then on the right here, you should see this. Also on the left side, if we see the table content, you should see the U. U means unstaged. Unstaged means right now it's temporary. It's under your working directory, but this file is not being checked. Once you put the file into the staging area, that means you take a snapshot, and that's ready to be committed. But for now, I can see this one here. You see under it's not being checked. If you want, you can click this button to manually check them into the stage area if you want to. So I can click this one, and now you see A. Now A represent add, okay? So it's ready to be added to the, basically add a new file or something like that. So here, this is right now an empty file. So Jupyter Notebook basically is composed of code blocks, text, images, video, whatever you want. So what we want to do here depends on what you want to add first. If you want to add a title, I can add a markdown. If you want to run Python code, then you add a code block. So we only have these two types. So maybe in the notebook, usually at the beginning, you want to add some text, for example, a markdown. Okay. So remember, markdown is just a simple markup language that allows you to write text and then with some kind of formatting images, for example. So for here, I would say maybe just a simple one hashtag and then maybe introduction to Jupyter Notebook. Okay. Once you have this on your keyboard, right now this one is just markdown. It's not being rendered. So you can either click on the right here. There's a button, one cell in selection. Not this one. Maybe Control Enter. Oops. Shift Enter. Alt Enter. Okay. I think some of my keyboard is being occupied. Maybe X. Control X. Okay. Weird. So this is being rendered. So on your Windows or Mac computer, it should be Control Enter, Shift Enter, or Alt Enter. Okay. Alt Enter is going to create a new code block. So if you double click again, it will go back to the plain text mode. And I need to look into the keyboard shortcut. So I'm going to use Alt Enter just to create a new code block in here. And if you create a markdown, then if you use the keyboard shortcut, it's going to create another markdown, but I can change it. So if you click this button here, it's going to pop up, okay, select language mode. So after that, if you want to write some Python code, I can just select Python. That means right now, this one becomes a Python code block. From here, you can start writing Python code. So I'm going to just same thing, hello. Okay, Control S. So make sure you press Control S to save the file. Otherwise, you're going to have a period, like white color at the top. So with this one, right now, you can start on the left side. You will look at this. Compared to the markdown, there's no run buttons. But for this one here, you see this one, execute code. So if you execute, and then, oh, by the way, before you do that, you need to select the kernel, okay? Upper right corner here, there's a select kernel. Compared to the Python script is at the bottom, but Jupyter Notebook is in the upper right corner. So click this one, and then Python environment. Select the one you want. So we're going to select the geo environment. and that's it. So now you don't need to select that again. Just click this one button. It should execute this whole block. And Control S, right? And you can start doing something else. I can write import OS. Oh, by the way, so make sure that if there's no auto-completion or something, if you're writing Python code, make sure you switch to the Python mode, because this one is marked down. So I can delete this one, come back to here, Alt Enter again, and import. Oops. Maybe yes. Okay. Import OS. Okay. Execute. OS.get CWD. Get the current working directory, so you can figure out the file path of where this notebook is located. And also on your keyboard, if you press, I think my keyboard shortcut is broken here. Okay, it doesn't work. If you press Control X, it should cut this one. Or you can also have your mouse somewhere. And so from here, you can add a new code block beneath. So by default, you're going to add a new code block beneath. It says Control Enter, but my Control Enter is not working. Let me see one more time. Oh, that means you need to get outside the code block. So if you are right now, my cursor is in here, you're also able to use the Control Enter. Right now, it's being utilized by GitHub Copilot. So it's a bit annoying. So what you can do is to have your press the escape sign on your keyboard to get out of this code block. So this is called edit mode. If you get out, then it becomes a command mode. And from here, I can Control Enter, right? Escape, Control Enter. You see it's create a new code block. And you should also be able to maybe, yeah, this one doesn't work. If you press A or B on your keyboard, it will add a new code block above and below. Try it on your Windows computer. Again, my keyboard shortcut is messed up, so it's not working. I need to fix it. But normally, you can write Python code and then blah, blah, and then just escape. And then press A to add a new cell above. Press B to add a new cell above, below. Or you can also press X. I need to press Control X in order to delete the code block. Also, you can clear all the outputs. So this is a button that sometimes you might want to use. Clear all the outputs. Also, you can restart a notebook. So restart means you want to restart everything from beginning. Because if you don't, I can run this one. And on the left side here, you should see a number, right? Do you see a number on the left side on your key, the notebook? A square brackets and then a number. So this is basically the sequence when that code block was executed. So for example, I can run this one. Now it's number 7 and number 8, right? If you run this one again, what's the number? 9, okay? So you're going to start from basically continue. If you're doing a lab assignment, you're doing all kind of testing, at the end, the number is going to be like everywhere. So the recommended way will be before you submit the lab assignment or before you push the notebook to GitHub. What you want to do is to clear all the outputs and then rerun it, restart. Maybe go to the run. Not this one, upright. Yeah, I forgot where did I. Maybe Control S. And there should be a button. Yeah, I forgot where. There should be one like restart everything. Okay, now it's restarting. And then run again. See on the left side, you should see 1, 2, 3. Right? So that means it's clean. And also make sure that the notebook runs smoothly from the beginning to the end. Because if I'm messing things up and you are defining some variable, so let me show you here. Right? Assume I have a variable equal to 1. Okay, y equal to 2. And then z equal to x plus y, right? I can certainly do this. Now I can print z here. Right, it's called 3. And this works just fine because we defined kind of a running in sequence. I can also go back to somewhere here. I can also print out the G from here. Will that work? Yes, it works fine because all the variables have been stored in the memory. So even though you go to the beginning to run the code, it works just fine. But if you restart the kernel and you start everything from beginning and then you try to run again, do you think it's going to throw errors? Now, boom, it says G is not defined because you kind of messed up. You're trying things out and then you accidentally have a variable that you define later, but you try to use it earlier, then it's not going to work. So this is why it's very important. Whenever you're writing a notebook, after you're done, after you're trying to share with somebody else, make sure you restart the kernel, run from the beginning to the end, and make sure there's no error. Otherwise, you're going to have problem. So let me cut out this one here and restart, run all. Now it's fine. Everything works perfectly. Let me Control S. So this is how you can do it. Also on the right here, you should see this one, Jupyter variables. Do you see this one? And this is where you see all the variables that have been defined, right? X, Y, Z. And if a variable has been defined, then you can use it anywhere in the notebook. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to find the variable. So for example, if I just type A here and then trying to execute it, it's going to say name error. Name is not defined because you don't see it in the variable in here. But you don't need to define this kind of function, print, and some of the import stuff. So those are Python built-in functions. That means you don't need to define a variable. It's going to basically find that one from the system Python library. And so this is how you can create a new notebook, and also how you can execute Python code step by step. So here, you can create any kind of markdown as you want. And then I can actually, if you want, I can copy the entire markdown, for example, from somewhere else, and then paste in here. But in general, for each notebook or each markdown, you should only have one label, one heading. So basically one hashtag, you don't have multiple because each notebook or each document should only have one title. If you have multiple, it's going to cause problem. So you should try to avoid using the hashtag or the pound sign. It should be something at the beginning. So if I already have this one here, don't have another one somewhere below. You can have level heading level 2, level 3, level 4 if you want, but don't have 2 level 1. So now I'm going to escape and then run this one. Okay, so you see I also have this. And also very common when you are writing Python notebooks. So for example, later you want to develop something and then you want to give instruction, okay, user should install this package or that. Then usually you're going to write it in the markdown. So for example, to run this notebook, you need to install maybe, for example, leaf map, okay? And then you can give instructions how to install, for example, leaf map. You don't want to just type, for example, pip install leaf map like this, okay? I can certainly execute this one. It doesn't look good, okay? So what you want to do is to put this one in the so-called backticks to make it some kind of code block. So backticks, and this one usually, this is called command line. So it's usually called base command. So you can just type base, and then you need to close it, okay? 3 backticks and then base represent the command line. You can run it on Python or Windows or Mac or other OS. So take a look right now, it looks like this. And if you push this one to GitHub, it will look better rather than using just the plain text, okay? Also, I can do this, for example, create a new code block. And since I already have leaf map, I should be able to just import leaf map, right? Alt enter, and then m equal to leaf map dot uppercase map, and then just put it out. Okay, so now I have this running, and I can create a map, interactive map within Jupyter just using 2 lines of code. Control S. So this is how you can execute, or you can also move things up and down. You can move the notebook, for example, if you need to move it, you can move it like this. Of course, you want to see the warning here saying that div map is not defined because I'm moving up and it's importing here. So that's not going to work if you rerun it again. So you should move this one down. Also on another keyboard shortcut is useful. I think it's Alt up. Let me see. Yeah, Alt up and down is you can move a cell up and down. On Mac computer, it might be the command or the option. I forgot which one, but it's the Alt button, right? So you can move up and down if needed. Control S. Clear all the outputs. Restart. Run again. And the other thing that, oops, what is happening? The other thing I want to show you is pretty much all the Python code repository on GitHub. The majority will be just Markdown and Jupyter Notebook. So you can all Python script. So if you see any good examples, you can steal the information and then copy and paste and then put it like your own. So let me show you how I can do it. I'm going to go to maybe just the leaf map website, right? This is what you're going to create later this semester. But if you go to the GitHub repository, you can look at the information in here. You're going to find the readme.md. So this is basically the default file going to be rendered on your repository. So what you're going to see here, all this stuff, it comes from the readme file. So if your repository has a readme file, it's going to be rendered. And if you browse the GitHub website and then you find anything like, oh, this looks pretty cool. Okay, how do I add an image like this? Or how to add all these like so-called badge. So the user can, for example, click and then it will take you to the website. Also, this is being updated automatically. So for example, whatever version, you don't need to keep updating it. It's automatic. So you have this base, it's going to be updated automatically based on the version that you release to PyPI. You can copy pretty much everything from here. So you can click this button, just go to the edit, or maybe for you, if you don't have the edit button, you can just go click this readme.md, and then from here, click this button, raw button, and you can see all the text. So this is behind the scene, how that Markdown was written. And if you want, you can copy anything. So look at how this is being done. I can maybe just copy all this. Okay, Control C. And then I can come back to here. I can just do it like this. Control V. And then Alt Enter. Look at this. See how cool it is. So you can basically borrow any example from other website. Of course, you need to make some minor changes. I will show you later, but the best way to learn coding is to learn how to read code, how to look at other people's source code and see what kind of things you can learn from, because if it is open source, everything is there. It's either going to be a Python script, or it's going to be a Jupyter Notebook, or it's going to be Markdown. There are also other languages, but primarily, if you're just learning Python, you just need to know these 3 files. And after that, just look at the original, what they have, copy, paste, and you should be able to figure out, just read through the URL. For example, this is just the image, and this is the link to the image. Later, when we start developing Python package, you want to have something like this. So you're going to have a home page that you can link a notebook to somewhere that other people can click and run the Python code. Anyway, so this is what we can do. And so I'm going to push this one to GitHub on the left side here. Earlier, because I already added one to the stage area. And so right now, you have one in the stage area. That one is empty. That when we created the file, we did add it to the stage area. So we have make some changes, add some stuff into it. You want to make sure that you click this button. So that right now, the entire file has been put into the staging area. Then it's ready to be committed to GitHub. So I can right click, maybe close all, so it's clean. From here, I can say add a new notebook example, okay? And then, again, Control Enter, publish branch. After that, you can go to your GitHub repository. You should see this one, compare and submit pull request. Click that. Make sure everything is right, and make sure you don't have any garbage, okay? If they have other files that are not supposed to be there, you need to be careful about merging that to your home repository. So from here, if you want, you can write description, okay? This here adds a new notebook. Of course, it is not much information, but if you're having some complicated stuff or you are contributing to other repository, you want to have something more descriptive. After that, create pull request. Wait for a couple seconds. So right now it says no conflict. That's a good sign. If there's any conflict, then you need to resolve the conflict to other packages. If everything looks good to you, then you can just select the second one, okay? Because it's better. So all the commits, if you have multiple commits, I can continue to make some changes. Right now, here is only one commit, right? If something is work in progress, you don't have to merge it right away. You can continue to push changes. So right now, if you notice, for example, after you look at the file change, okay, you notice, oh, there's something is wrong, I need to fix it. You can continue to come back to your local VS Code, open the notebook, right? So from here, and maybe you notice this one here, the empty code block you don't want, Control X or just X, and maybe another one here, X, or maybe also delete the last one, something like this. And then Control X, S on the left side. See the changes. Right now this is says modified. So this file is already in the has been modified. And from here, you see something has changed. What you can do is here I will say clean up. Control Enter. Think the changes. It will be synchronized to here. So take a look. Now it shows the button refresh. That means it can detect the changes once you push. So here, if you click the commit, you see two commits rather than one, right? Clean up. So this is the second time that I push it. And I remove some stuff, some empty code blocks. And that's it. So after that, if there's nothing wrong, of course there's something wrong in here. I have this. Recommit is not a file because there's something missing anyway. Don't worry about that. On your end, you should see the green, everything is green, no conflict. Then you can click this squash and merge. Then conform. Done. Okay. So that means right now our repo should have a Python script. And we also have a notebook here. If you click the notebook, and it's going to be rendered on GitHub. And look at mine, looks pretty cool. Also, all the script has been executed. 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, 5, 7. All right, so I can come back to here. And this one is important, okay? Make sure you do that because otherwise, if you continue to make changes and continue to push, it will not work anymore because right now your repo is behind the main repository. So always make sure that you git pull so that, or switch to the main branch and then git pull so that you are synchronized with the main branch. So git, check out main, and then git pull. All these will go away because right now our repo is synchronized with the main repository. So this is a good sign, and make sure you do this step. I'm sure you're going to make this mistake somehow in the future. And if it happens, check your branch first. See if it is synchronized or is the same as the one on GitHub. If not, then you might need to switch. Okay, so now I'm on the main branch. Also, after you have done a couple of times, you will see this one, notebooks and testing. So probably you don't need those anymore. If you want to delete them, you can do it. So I can just git branch and then this uppercase D, and then for example, notebook. So that means I don't need this one anymore. I can delete the branch. Hit enter. Okay, it says DD branch notebook blah blah, and then it should be gone. So I can git branch again. Now I only have 2. If you have like more than 10 branches, you want to delete all at once. You don't want to do them like one by one. You can also do it. There's a shortcut on my operating system. Let's ask GitHub Copilot, see if it can tell me what to do. Delete all Git branches except main branch. There might be a shortcut, and it might work on Windows or Mac. Okay, cool. See this one? It may not work on on your Windows or Mac, but let's try this one. So I'm going to copy this, okay, and then come back to my. Let me remove this. So Git branch, and I can create another one. For example, Git check out this B, and then maybe testing 2. Okay, so now I should have 3 branches. Oops, Git branch. And I'm going to switch to the main branch. This. So try again, Git branch. Okay, so now let me paste the command line, see if it works or not. Git branch, and then get all the branches. It's going to grab just the main branch, and then everything else is going to be deleted. See how cool it is? And deleting testing branch, but it has been merged to blah blah. You have nothing, and then Git branch again. See, it's gone. So if you have like a lot of branches that you have created in the past, you want to clean things up, then this is the command line that you can utilize. Again, I'm not sure if it works on Windows or not. Probably this command XAZRS may not work. I'm not quite sure. But ask ChatGPT, it will help you. Like delete all the Git branches on Windows. So for this one here, it's integrated. You need to have the GitHub Copilot enable. So if you don't have one, you can sign up the GitHub Copilot. So in this way, you can have the checkbox in here. So maybe, let me see here, delete all branches on Windows. Hit enter. Okay, it's indeed different, right? You see this one, the blah blah. It's kind of using a loop. So you can put this one in the PowerShell, and then you can delete it as well. Okay, so this is how you can create notebooks. So next, I'm going to quickly show you how you can actually run the notebook on Google Colab. Assume that you have found some notebook, for example, on GitHub repository. Okay, and this is a trick. Okay, but it's very useful. So for example, right now this is a notebook. It's linked on GitHub. Keep in mind, this is a notebook, but you cannot make changes. You cannot run Python code because it's just like a web page. If you want to run it programmatically, you will need to open this one, for example, using Google Colab. So there are multiple ways you can open this in Google Colab. The easiest way, probably there's a Google Colab extension, Chrome extension. So you can install this Google Colab Chrome extension, or go to have the URL, github.com blah blah something, right? And you can just type to Colab. Okay, github.com, you change it from GitHub to GitHub, and then add to Colab. Okay, TOCOLAB after Colab, and then just hit enter. It will redirect this one to Google Colab. So in this way, right now, I can run Python code in here. See, just run anyway. So anytime if you see a notebook somewhere on GitHub, it's going to URL going to be github.com. You just add to Colab. If you forget, you can always come back to here. There's some tricks in here. If you want, like open Google Colab file extension, or you can change the github.com to GitHub to Colab in here. So everything you can be able to find on the course website. But this is something that you want later. If you want to provide an icon on your notebook so that other people can open easily without having to type that. You can also add an icon. So here, this is one way. Again, I'm going to go back to my GitHub notebook here, leave. So this is the first way. The second way is this one. You see upper right corner here, my Google Chrome has this file extension. If I click this button, it will also open it in Google Colab. So this one is even better if you want to click the button. So you can go to the Chrome and then maybe manage extensions. On the left side, Chrome Web Store. And from here, you can search it. For example, Google Colab. Hit enter. Okay, where's the... Is it because I already installed Google Colab? Or is it gone? Huh. It used to be available somewhere here. Oh, okay, this one. See here. Look at this big icon, CO. Look at this icon, this big one, and you can install it. So this one is from officially from Google, so it should be safe, I guess. Okay, and then just install this Chrome extension. Then you're gonna have this icon here. You can start it so that it's showing up here in your browser. So in that way, every time if you browse any Google Colab and then you see any notebooks, you want to open it, you can do it like this way. So similarly, for example, I can go to maybe the leaf map website and then go to GitHub, right? So here, if you go to the examples or maybe the docs, right? And inside here, I can find maybe the notebooks. I have hundreds of notebooks in here. And if any notebook you're interested in, you just click and then just click on this icon. It will take you to Google Colab, and then you can just start executing the code block. So Google Colab is just similar to your local JupyterLab environment, but it's in the cloud. So you don't need to really install Conda or anything. Everything will be run directly in the cloud. So I then can Control/, then Control Enter, run it. You can install all the packages, something like that. So this is how you can run Python code. And next, I'm going to quickly show you how you can add a link to your notebook so other people don't have to utilizing this. And there's an icon directly on your notebook that you can point to open it. So again, I'm going to go to here. So this is the one here, number 12. You can copy this one. And I'm going to come back to my notebook here. Okay. So usually you want to put this one at the beginning so that other people can utilize that. And let me delete all of this. Right now there are too many pages. Just like you want to be a general in the military, you want to have so many pages so that people can see like you are have a lot of contribution. So I'm going to Control V and look at this one, right? Control S. Then I can execute this one. See? So now I have this icon open in Colab. But the problem is right now this one is not the one. When you open it, it's not the right one, right? It takes you to other places. So the reason for that is that we need to replace this URL. Okay. So how do you get this URL? Very simple. Once you push things to GitHub, you're going to find this notebook, right? So either you copy this one and then add it to Colab, or you just take it to Google Colab and then you copy this URL. So either one is fine. So after you get the URL, I'm going to come back to here. Okay, paste. Oh, this is too long. I'm going to just Control V. Oops. Or maybe just delete it. Control V. Control S. Alt Enter. Now, if I take this one, you see, it will take you to that exact notebook. So in that way, user don't have to like figure out how to do that. Once you have this, very simple. I will say just here, update Colab thing. And then Control Enter, push, all done. Now, if I come back to my repo here, it's only have one icon. So next time, if anyone is browsing my GitHub repository, if they see this icon, open in Colab, just right click, open. Okay, it will just open the exact notebook. This is probably not not updated yet. There might be some cache, but if you really want, I can also do it like this way. Open your incognito window. It should be, or maybe GitHub is like, no, there's some case on the GitHub server, but in general, you can do it like this way. So this is how you can add an icon to your notebook. Later, when we develop Python packages, you're going to have those notebooks, you're going to have these pages, so that anyone can go online and then go to the node repo and then try out some of the things that you have developed. Okay, so that's all for today. I will see you in the next lecture.